too much of a fake. It looks like they're probably just to close the distance and do a fast execute towards potentially A, looking at the spread of these players. CR4ZY going to be going for a bit of a short play as well, able to get complete control, and this boost into connector could absolutely shut down some of these LDLC players.
This is a great position at the moment from CR4ZY because they sort of have B defended informationally. They're going to know whether aggression comes through via connector or whether anyone eventually tries to push through monster, so they can basically rotate the majority of their players off onto that A site for free. Toxic only gets one before being eliminated by Sixer and Hadji, fiddling around with the door but not deciding to commit. Instead, it looks like A may be the target for LDLC as they deploy their utility and look to advance, but there are some stacking CR4ZY players with USPs waiting in the wings. Opening kill found by DemQ as he retreats towards long. Body and Hadji both open up though as Psycho replies, but the A bomb site is under LDLC's control. Serg is rotating in, but he needs to find something big here in the 1-on-2. Body. He gets it done at the end of the round. Headshot working out, and despite the opening kill for CR4ZY, that actually does go LDLC's way.
Absolutely, and that was a very good play by LDLC to spot that initial contact on connector, realize that the boost is there, I mean there's going to be one player in rotation, and then just execute that A site as quick as humanly possible to just fight the two players there before that third player is able to get up towards the site.
Great play in the pistol from LDLC, and it's prompted out now the force buy from CR4ZY. 2 scouts and a complement of Deagles, but both scouts absent armor. Need to be careful of that aim punch factor. DemQ's just been removed in the B bomb site early by Body, and Toxic, tagged ever so low, is not the best start to a force that you could hope for from CR4ZY, but it looks like they might be rotating a couple of extra players into this B bomb site. The bomb nowhere near commitment for now though from LDLC.
Absolutely, and that was an amazing amount of damage done onto Toxic as well by Body there. I'm not quite sure if he realizes how low he's been able to tag him. The player forced to just retreat down towards barrels and hope that the head angle prevents the body shot from hitting him.
LDLC now seeking the push towards A long. CR4ZY. They have rotated one player back up to this A bomb site. Definitely thinking about bringing Sergiz up as well. Just leaving Toxic on 19 as the gamble player on the B site. Psycho just lands a tag before being removed, but there is another scout waiting around, and it can deal some heavy damage. 3 players tagged up. These Deagles might find something in the round, but yet more damage dealt. Absent kills, unfortunately, for CR4ZY, and smoked off the site. It looks like they don't even want to contest this. They want to save their head armor forward into round 3, which is likely to be the hard eco here. I'd actually have called perhaps for the Ukrainians just to try and deal some damage at the end of this one. You're going to be on the hard eco in the next anyway, and this is probably your best chance to find some low HP players.
Absolutely, and 3 of these players for LDLC just agonizingly low. We saw how CR4ZY were able to just tag down what they can. Unfortunately, LDLC won't allow that scout to repeat, especially when they don't have armor. So for them to even land 3 shots is great. Unfortunately, it just isn't enough, and it's on the wrong players. Toxic going to be found in connector as well. It's all on Sergey. And as these players barrel towards T-spawn, he's going to have his work cut out for him. As actually they choose not to aggress any further. Eagle and armor being all they're able to save going into round 3.
Going to have to be the hard eco here from the CR4ZY side. There's just no other way around it. You can't get baited into these early forces and losing control of that opening economy. You can take the gamble in the second round for sure, but now it's time to back off, preserve that cash, and allow LDLC their third. Try and deal that economic damage for sure, but at least the French side don't have any SMGs to utilize against you to farm that ultimate bonus cash.
Absolutely, and again, that's I guess the benefit and curse of these heavy rifle buys, where LDLC are going to win most of their long-range aim duels. However, it does mean that Whites have the farming ability that MAC-10s would have. Afro actually finding 2 very quick kills on short there. DemQ going to be pushing as well. Eagle in hand, hoping to find a play. He's going to miss on Body. He turns around and tears his head clean off. And with
It's a
that,
great start for LDLC. 5 players still alive, no one fallen yet to the USPs, and the B-bomb site completely under their control. Psycho and Sensei, they're not going to have much to do with the remainder of this round, but maybe one of them can get lucky and double dink a hunting Galil towards the death of things. Either way, it's going to be the 3-0 start for LDLC, and this is where things start to get a little bit dangerous for Crazy now. If LDLC manage to win this upcoming full gun round, they are now in that position that we mentioned where they can take control of that early T-side economy and put Crazy under pressure on their own map pick.
absolutely, absolutely. And I've seen that LDLC really preferring to get the control again. I'm not sure it's going to be Connector, so we'll have to see if Crazy chooses to fight in Connector. Something that we haven't really. I think we saw them do it when they last played Overpass as well. So I'm going to be very curious to see just how aggressive Crazy can be against this LDLC side, especially when they've been favouring B Short so heavily.
That is really going to be an interesting factor. Connector can be a vital portion of the map to control as the T side, depending on what your playstyle is. If you like going for that informational based style where you probe around either bomb site and then rotate up to the one where maybe you find an opening kill, the quick collapse in, it can be vital for those quick rotations from B to A in order to effect those fast A round executions. So Crazy committing to there can be effective, but in rounds like this, it's a bit of a waste putting CT players in the angles as no one from LDLC is currently looking to utilize those rotational positions. As long as they can hold on to B short, they don't need anybody actively in the connector tunnels. LDLC, they managed to get away from these early picks, but Sergis is right here waiting for some aggression. Sixer can get the trade back at bare minimum, but Sensei's AWP suspects there could be connector players, and that's not quite the right angle to be looking for right now.
Sensei actually on a glass cannon as well, so he needs to be extra careful. That smoke landing behind him is going to show that he's absolutely trapped right now. Swings, and he's going to miss his shot on Sixer. Close is going to miss again, and Sixer taking that up out the round for LDLC. And of course, the follow-up being further aggression into toilets from Psycho. Going to be at the ready, waiting for this AWP to close the distance. But Sixer looks like he's just going to search for a stray player. LDLC backing off towards Connector and B. Luckily for Crazy though, Toxic will be laying in wait.
Sixer in a little bit of danger here on his own. The rifle's trying to collapse in and create a crossfire. Now backing off the connector. Toxic's the man who's in trouble, and Afro, the man who's found the frag. Sixer can now wrap in through B short into the site, and Crazy, I think they just have to save these rifles at this point. 2-on-4 retake into the B site. I just don't see how they can put it off.
It's going to be very difficult now for Crazy to justify a push in towards the site. We're going to see them have to fall on away and just cling to these guns for dear life. They do have a little bit of utility with them as well. It's not defensive utility, but a molly, a nade stack can potentially find a kill here and there, or delay a push for just a couple of seconds. So not only are the guns going to be important, but that utility going to be fairly important as well. Bear in mind that they're going to have none going into the next round, as their economy is in absolute tatters as the round ends here.
The loss bonus at least starting to build for Crazy, but I think 6-0, that's the lead they really have to avoid here. If LDLC can get 6-0 up and they're fighting gun rounds at that position in the half, LDLC have got very little work to do in order to win. They've won the opening 6 at that point in time, 9 remaining there, and the CT economy virtually in tatters for all of it should that scoreline be afforded. Now, for my money, Crazy should be ecoing in this and then buying up into the next to have the best chance possible at denying LDLC, and it looks like that's the call they're going to go for. Sensei's just been dropped down onto a scout, and Serg is selecting just the pistol, absent armor. Toxic's got body armor for his deagle, but really it's the rifles that need to do that heavy lifting for Crazy in this round.
Absolutely, and that nading connects are going to be beautiful for Psycho. Able to use that AK to full effect against body there.
Does earn that opening kill into Crazy's favor. It's the great start for the Ukrainian side in this round, but LDLC with an AWP still in hand and utility still to work with. There are options remaining for this execution. They just want to try and avoid the 2 rifles if they can. The real danger does lie in the hands of these deagles as well. If they can find just one quick shot on the way into a bomb site, then the rifles can quite easily clean up the remaining players if enough damage is done. LDLC, they're creeping through Monster at the moment, looking to collapse into this A site rather dry for now, as they try and get as much map control as they can. Hadji and Sixer open up with both kills, and Crazy now once again looking for the retake. A scout in the hands of Sensei, but nobody peeking around that side of the pillar. Eventually he's spotted out by Lambert, but the plant still hasn't come through. Eventually it goes down, and now Psycho has a choice to make. What does he want to do with his AK? Sensei's found a kill on the B bomb site. It could be doable, but Crazy decide they want to back away and look for the guns again in the next.
It looked like there they decided to save before that kill even came through. We see both these AKs towards the back of T-spawn, just hoping to find some form of exit. And I think for Sensei to be able to hold on to a scout, at least it's just a bit of a fast-moving gun. It will allow them to find a bit of information and maybe tag up a few players for the remaining AKs. And I think if Sensei's able to, he might be able to get around the corner or get around to T-spawn and potentially find a straight AK if one of his teammates fall here.
It's very interesting at the end of the round. Sixer at risk. He drops the AWP at minimum, so at least the economic damage dealt if the sniper can't be recovered, but he's on 11k, so he's not too worried at this point in time about his own bank, whereas Crazy might be worried about their economy. Sergiz and Psycho with nearly $4,000 in the bank between them, that might justify some kind of a force in the upcoming stages with increased loss bonus, but either way, this is still a rough start for Crazy.
Absolutely, and LDLC just shutting down Crazy on these executes. See how effective they are, and actually the swing from Sergey not working at all. LDLC, not only can they hit them on these executes, but they found a very good way to just cancel out any aggression from Crazy. We saw Afro, especially when Toxic had complete B-short control, he was just able to spam down up there from the railings, and again, he'll find Toxic before Demke's able to trade.
An advantage in LDLC's favour now, as they want to push forward towards this A bomb site, but the CTs are also advancing here in the bathroom. Sensei's found one quick frag onto body, and that's the most impactful player on average for LDLC removed from this round. Back into a 3-on-3, and the HP advantage firmly lying with Crazy at this point in time. LDLC have a lot of utility to work with, but the A-bomb site is the more heavily defended one, and they are going to have to root out 2 rifles in order to find their way in. Psycho, aggressively posted in the bathrooms, will only have to find Hadji to call this position a success. Meanwhile, Sensei is under a lot more pressure deep within the site. He's covering himself along as he looks for Lambert, misses the early shot. Psycho gets the player on short and looks for more onto the site. Sixer now left in the one-on-one, and he clears up Dim Q as well. 6-0 lead now for LDLC. The buy can come through for Crazy, but it's not looking great for them at the beginning of their pick.
An absolutely beautiful 1 versus 2 from Sixer there. Just turn full 180 and take down that player pushing up from garbage. As we're going to see a timeout come in for Crazy. And if you're in the side of Crazy, what do you do? Well, we've seen that their aggression just hasn't worked, especially how LDLC have set up their defaults, always have that advantage of whatever push that Crazy decides to do. We see that they kind of favor these, well, no utility pushes where they'll just shift into short and take it, or they'll shift through monster and take it. And what that means is that they're able to save their utility for when executes come on through. But the disadvantage with that is that if you go with no utility, you're just going to take a straight aim duel with a guy who is ready for you to come. And that's how LDLC is going to be able to, well, has been able to win these pushes. And so if I was in Crazy's position, I would try and hold off on the aggression, sit back and just let the push come to them. They are on that CT side.
That could be perfectly the right call. They've had to go for the full buy in this round, but should they lose it, I think maybe, even if they have to double eco in order to get double AWPs out, that might be the right call here. Sensei on his own has been a bit hit or miss so far. He's whiffed a few key shots so far in this map, so maybe just putting a secondary AWP on the board, having that bailout sniper, and then using the playstyle you mentioned, retreating passively into the sites and trying to bait those LDLC T-side players into the AWP crosshairs.
Absolutely. We're going to see LDLC again in this kind of passive default as they just shift into areas, taking it slowly and methodically. Psycho and Connects are going to find one. Lambert should be able to trade them. Down.
hunting for it, but Psycho actually turns around and finds it. That's huge, but Haji has got a double kill of his own. Body now opening up into B, and Haji with a third onto Psycho. Toxic is the only man left, and he's currently stood in T-side fire. Body desperate to stay alive, using the smoke as his ally, but eventually Toxic gets him. 1 on 2 now. The A-bomb site given away as Toxic rushes through the flames to get this flank, but Haji has the sound cue, and LDLC have 7 rounds consecutively at the beginning of this semi-final.
Absolutely. There's going to be a technical timeout coming out now on behalf of one of these players. And LDLC just doing such a good job to get these trades here, as well, Haji there did an amazing job to get that initial kill off the back of a flash, then turn around to get that long push as it comes on through, then to go on and get a third on the defense of that A site. Absolutely amazing for LDLC there, allowing them to just run up to that A site and trading just beautifully.
This is crazy, in serious trouble now in this best of 3. Yes, they have a decent win record over there on Inferno, but LDLC are certainly looking like the stronger side on it, especially considering the performances they've been putting up on that map recently. And yesterday, they just looked like a lethal force on the T side. Once they were really raring to go and they got in gear, they got that momentum shifting, there was really no stopping them at a lot of points on their T side. So crazy. They need to step it up relatively soon here. LDLC already 7 rounds up in the half on a killer streak. If Crazy don't get at least 6 of the next 8 rounds, they're in serious, serious trouble.
Absolutely, and of course LDLC, a team that I would consider better on their CT side as well, considering how they favor this double AWP setup. And so, yeah, you've said it perfectly. Crazy really need to find a way to put their foot on the gas here and just try and get just a couple of rounds to prevent LDLC from hitting double digits before the end of the half. And, you know, there's still a couple of rounds left in the half. Crazy able to make it 8 if they really find something that works for them. But LDLC, extremely comfortable position with their economy as well. And they're just going to have no economic woes for what could be about 5 rounds now.
When you look at the win rates for either side of this map as well, specifically for Crazy, it suggests they're in even more trouble on their pick. Their average CT round win percentage is 2/3 at 66%, whereas their T side round win percentage is just 45%, less than half average. So, I mean, LDLC only need a 1 round advantage in the halves, to purely statistically speaking. Of course, things plays out differently in the actual matches, but from a statistical perspective, if LDLC can end this half with 8 rounds, they've done enough to win this match, as Crazy win out on average less than half on their T side.
Absolutely. And again, if you're in Crazy's position, what do you do? Like, their economy isn't looking very good at all. They're probably gonna have to go pistols and armor again, maybe a small buy. LDLC on the other hand, just able to not worry too much economically. 6er AWP in hand, it's an expensive kit to have, but it doesn't matter. He's still got 8.5 in the bank. And with the momentum that LDLC have, Crazy have got an absolute mountain to climb right now.
They certainly do. We've seen comebacks in halves like this before, especially in the Malta Vibes Cup. I think I've seen 2 maps so far in which a side has gone 7-0 up, and then the following team has come straight back with 8 rounds of their own. Unfortunately for Crazy, they'd have to start this comeback in a pistol round in which only 3 players have body armor. The bomb has actually been left in spawn at the start of this round for LDLC as they look to go quickly for some entries at the moment, taking the early B short map control and assessing where the congestion will come through. Body tries for the transfer, but can only get the close range kill. That is Psycho, the highest fragging player for Crazy, already removed from the round. 6er removing Dem Q and punishing his over-aggression as Crazy now over-rotate into the B bomb site. Any kind of a probe over towards from LDLC is going to realize they have a free site on their hands.
Absolutely. And the remaining players from Crazy, you know, what can you do? We see that they have just been able to stack B, looking to just maybe catch a gun off guard. Looks like they will, since they're able to find Afro. But the worry they have with LDLC is that they can go anywhere they want. It's still a 3 versus 3, but Crazy, they haven't had eyes on A for a very long time, and it looks like it might be a full rotation coming back as well. All 3 players moving out towards that A site.
This is the benefit of playing a passive T side, in that when you show your heavy presence early by committing body towards B, and then after Crazy now push and only find one more player, nobody hunting for the refrags or anything like that. In their own minds, they believe the A bomb site must be being attacked. Afro must just be staying here to try and find the rotators, and they're creeping over towards that A site. And unfortunately for Crazy, that is just not what's going on. They'll have at least one AK save forward at the end of this round should they want it. And that is going to be a bonus to their buy in the next. Sure, everyone will be able to afford the full, but at least they have that slight economic bonus. If Toxic can save his body armor as well, that'll be a huge benefit to them. Either way, it's LDLC's 8th, and Crazy will be looking for the full gun round to deny 9 in a row in the next.
Absolutely, and Crazy able to get out of connector, so they got a bit of an advantage. However, Lambert taking contact, and Crazy doesn't be in such a difficult position for this retake, and it looks like they're worried for it. Toxic going to be the only player who really fights to potentially find an exit. The remainder of those players just falling on away, looking to save what they have. Going to be 2 AKs at least, but Toxic with not much HP to spare either. He's just going to look to try and take a player with him. Knife out, a run back down to the monster. Hatchie's going to hear him. Unfortunately, he probably thought it was too late. Still full, but Sixer able to take him down, and he too will escape with his life.
Well, economic damage dealt at the bare minimum, but again, at this point in time, it's slightly less significant for Crazy to be looking for those late round kills, because LDLC's cash is just so flush. $10,000 in the bank of 3 players, 2 of which have already bought into this round, or at least bought the majority of what they're bringing forward. Now, something we probably should talk about at this point is there have been a few technical pauses, and a Crazy player has dropped out of the map at one point in time. So this could indicate that Crazy perhaps are being plagued by those issues, and that's impacting their performance a little bit. But ultimately, we don't know just how significant that is on their game plan. I don't want to discredit LDLC completely in this instance, and we have an opportunity now to talk about our case partners over at Hellcase, the biggest and most well-known case opening website about, with almost 100 cases, updated case battle upgrader, dozens of giveaways per month, and absolutely loads more unique features. Crazy in trouble at the moment, but despite having enough cash, they haven't gone for the double ops.
Absolutely. And what do you think that is, Britalis?
Well, I mean, when I look around at the scoreboard at the moment for the Crazy side, you look at the traditional high fraggers for the board. Sensei, the highest rating player on average, followed up by Sergiz. And Sensei in the middle of the pack at the moment, and Sergiz right actually at the bottom of that scoreboard at the moment. So if anybody was going to be picking up that secondary AWP, I'd suggest that perhaps he would be the candidate to do so. But he's been really struggling at the moment. And Psycho, who's the highest fragger in the map, he's been getting a lot of his kills in aggressive off angles, a lot of close range positions. So he might be just personally a lot more confident in that AK to try and take those close range fights.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a real issue if they can't bring out the stuff block. We see how their playstyle consists of always pushing, always trying to take these fights to LDLC. We saw when they had pistols, even when they kind of had a man advantage, they're still pushing through Monster. Six was able to catch up. I can't remember who it was as they pushed through Monster, and that kind of aggression, it works. It's like chocolate, you know. It works in moderation, but if you're always having it, it's going to be to your detriment. And that's kind of what we're seeing here from Crazy. We need them to kind of slam on the brakes, sit back, and let the side of LDLC come to them. And from the looks of it, we are going to have a server switch, most likely. There's only one player remaining in it. So please bear with us.
Well, I think perhaps that could be indicating why Crazy aren't playing so passively. If you are being plagued by technical issues, I know I used to live in Asia, so the ping you get on those servers is absolutely insane. And when you play in those scenarios, when you're having technical problems, you tend to just try and go more aggressively, try and catch opponents off guard, because if you're just sitting in a corner having serious loss or ping issues and somebody's peeking straight into you, you're literally never going to win that gunfight. So perhaps there's a little justification there, but either way, it's still the 8-0 lead for LDLC. They've still been playing this well, and really, there have only been a couple of rounds that look close. There was that one round where Sixer had to clutch it out with the AWP. Other than that, though, LDLC have looked really confident throughout the map.
For sure. And again, LDLC, I think they're their prowess comes in their ability to use their utility. We saw how Crazy wanted to fight them for short when they didn't quite have enough utility. They could probably justify smoking that molly, but LDLC, there was a molly on the back of Monster, there was a molly, you know, close towards that short push. That was a molly and connector. They just completely shut that area of the map just out for Crazy, and they just didn't have the utility to fight for it. And we saw how that was able to just come back and bite them when, of course, they tried to push without utility and LDLC were just ready for them.
And that's the real issue. You saw when Crazy go for that tactical aggression. I mean, there was that one play in the pistol round where they just put one quick pop flash over towards B, push 2 players in, and with the P250s, they completely overwhelm Afro. Now, that individual little set piece there, that I think is going to be the key towards their executions. They've gone for the aggression, but like you've mentioned, it's been the dry aggression, and it's been kind of typical as well. They've been overplaying their hands. You know, if they're going aggressive towards A, they're typically having an AWPer watching connector and then a rifler up in picnic holding fountain or something like that. Some these traditional angles, whereas what they could be going for is a really quick flash, put both the AWPer and the rifler out for just a second or two, look for one kill or the refrag if one of them gets killed, and then fall back into the side to just create a bit of dismay in this LDLC side and break up the momentum a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it looks like the server's all set up. We should be going live in just a few minutes. So thank you for being patient with us. And again, LDLC, I think their utility usage is perfect. They've done everything they need to. For the T side, they could lose every round from here and still have an advantage going into that CT side. The only thing I wouldn't have is momentum. But when you've gone 8-0, does momentum even count for anything at this point? As Crazy, a mountain to climb, and you know, I kind of want to see them continue that push they did on long. I think the only time they tried it was when Hachi was able to get a 3K, and in order to do that, he just turned 90 degrees instantly, taking him down. So I'd be very curious to see just if he can, if LD or Crazy can do that again and catch LDLC off guard. As well, even with pistols, that sort of push can work.
Yeah, definitely can, because if your opponents aren't expecting it, you just have those close range angles that you can swarm on. But I think the issue for Crazy might be, oh my god, we tried that long push and Hachi just came out and absolutely wrecked us. Let's not do that again. We don't want to lose 3 players that quickly in the round. And that you just have to wonder how much of a factor plays like that are going to be when you have individuals turning up to the extent that they are on LDLC, in that literally everybody on the side is fairly balanced in terms of kills at the moment. Then that's the real fear factor from Crazy, because it's like, it doesn't matter where we go in the map, just everybody else is winning their gunfights other than us at the moment.
Absolutely. And again, every player's at the server. We should be going live from a backup very, very shortly. And again, just Crazy. I think we might be being too clever. Actually, I think Crazy, maybe they should just stop pushing as it is. I think info plays are completely fine. We see them kind of like wiggling on mid before falling back, but anything from just pushing up long, short, monster, it wasn't working. And so I'd really like to see them try it now, as I think we've just gone live into the game.
We'd look to be getting back underway with things here in the opening map of today's semi-finals. The 8-0 lead still in LDLC's hands, and your point, that passive play is one that may have to be recognized by Crazy at some point soon. I don't mind going for some tactical early round aggression, multiple players using flashes to try and find an opening pick, but if you don't get it, don't overextend, don't go for the second strafe, just fall back into the sights and hold those advantageous angles. Crazy absolutely have to break this LDLC momentum now. They cannot allow this streak to continue all the way forward into the second half.
Absolutely. We are going to see that all coming out on Sensei. We'll be fighting 6, of course. That's what they go for, those volleys. And it looks like it will be another peak. Follow from Sensei. The scope comes in, but LDLC just barreling it up B short right now. It's going to be a fast B take. And they're going to be Crazy off guard. That fundamentals monster falling instantly. Demq's able to trade Psycho. Finding another one. The players are already out.
Oh, Lambert's found the next kill in the B-bomb site. 3-on-3 now, but Afro low in the smoke. Demq and Sergis have found kills, and this might be the streak broken. Afro has a man at his flank, and Sensei has found him with the AWP. LDLC finally do lose a round here on Overpass, and Crazy pick up their first in the B-bomb site. And I can't lie to you, I was a little disheartened by that one from LDLC. As soon as I saw them starting to rush B short, I almost knew that streak was over. Time and time again, I've seen sides build up those early streaks, dominate momentum, and think that they've done enough to knock their opponents out of a map, then start rushing and quickly have the momentum fall away.
Absolutely. I think LDLC there kind of underestimated that buy from Crazy as well. I think they suspected pistols and armor again, hence the fast push. But Crazy, having been able to save so many guns, they were able to, well, buy fully into that with relative ease.
Oh dear, DemQ lucky to be alive at this point as he gets triple naded on that B boost. His Kevlar definitely proving its value there, just 4 HP, but regrettably for the LDLC side, they haven't found the opening entry. 40 seconds gone off the clock, and they still have to now push towards A from the beginning. Taking picnic control is certainly going to be easy, but guarding long is an AWP and an M4.
Absolutely, and I really love the setup from Crazy. It shows their aggression where they're able to get play in a close angle, but they're being a lot more disciplined with it. They're just doing a bait setup rather than pushing all the way forward, and I think that's kind of what they need to do here, rather than these kind of aggressive pushes. You're going to see a bit of an anti-flash position played by CR4ZY. Sensei going to make that point of contact.
Oh, missing the opening shot, unfortunately. On the close angle is the Ukrainian rifle. Finds one, but no more. 4 on 4 as LDLC look to swarm into this A bomb site now. Body gets nothing from the toilets as Sensei now finds a kill, but he's down on 19 HP, and Psycho needs to be able to defend him well. With 25 seconds left on the clock, LDLC cannot go anywhere else, and Sixer is currently being flanked as well by Toxic. It looks as though Psycho's going even more aggressive with this mid angle. Had she found early, Sixer's opened up onto DemQ, but surely he's going to be exposed at some point. Toxic cleans him up, and the info on the last is found. Lambert goes down. Crazy build their second, and now they are starting to build that momentum. Still, the T-side economy is strong, but soon it may be broken.
We'll see another timeout come through, and this is absolutely the foundation for a comeback for Crazy here. We've seen them figure out what works, which was let LDLC come to them. Granted, that first one was kind of a rush, making it a bit of a write-off, but again, that setup on long, absolutely brilliant. It didn't have to be a multi-kill from, I believe it was CR4ZY. Just because he saw all those players on long, it meant that Psycho was able to push in towards toilets and take that control. And that's the sort of pushes that we need to see from them, rather than these hero plays down Monster or into B shorts, which is kind of what's been giving them, we're giving a man advantage instantly to LDLC at the start of most of these rounds.
You're certainly right there, and now we're seeing why LDLC are being punished for their mistakes in rounds prior. No warp available on the T side. Sixer has to drop down onto that AK, which is a much less favorable weapon for him, and LDLC may want to play this round ever so slightly slower, at least at the start, as this Crazy utility and early peeking has been working out in this more passive playstyle we've been seeing. It's not the ultra aggressive, you know, the furthest forward angle we can have, but still finding those early picks somehow. DemQ getting the opener into the B site. Psycho opening up for 2 in water as well, and that's the round all over. This last streak of 3 rounds, LDLC have looked like a completely different side. They've just tried to crack into either site, and it's failed all times.
And absolutely brilliant from Crazy there. We see what happens when they're able to stick together and play off each other when LDLC are coming to them. We saw DemQ just dropping that smoke, allowing him, that's the aggression that we should see from them, just not in the capacity we've seen in the earlier rounds. Like, most teams would get that molly, you hear it fall around them, and they'll fall back towards water. But DemQ dropping that molly, playing aggressive, but not running into shorts, which is exactly, it's just been the secret formula from the looks of it. It's allowed them to get 3 rounds off the bat, and LDLC going to be on just pistols now as they barrel it up connector.
LDLC will certainly be kicking themselves if Crazy can finish this half 8-7. A huge missed opportunity that would be to take dominance at the opening stages of their opponent's map pick.
Eagles now coming up towards A. Unfortunately, closer angles. It's great kills from him. Almost fighting for.
Great work from the M4A1S, and the AWP finishes it off in the A bomb site. 8-4 the scoreline now as LDLC look for their next full buy of the T side as we enter into the latter stages of this first half. Just 3 more rounds to play, and then we'll see exactly how this shapes up. Ever since we have had that server switch, perhaps there were serious technical problems plaguing Crazy, because they look like a completely different side now.
Absolutely, it looks like with the server switch, that kind of mental barrier of not having that this ping advantage could be overcame now, as there's the aggression. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work. The trade is there though from Sensei, and Sensei actually able to refrag as well. Psycho coming out of connect, so he'll find Lambert catching him off guard, and this is the Crazy we need to see. However, Afro and the responsibility firmly on his shoulders. He'll find the first, the second is there. Won't take him down though. Demq able to trade perfectly.
Psycho, look at his positioning. All the way up in T-spawn, trying to flank around A. His body's making his way into connector to look for this B hit. Basically, because Psycho's gotten so aggressive, he believes that there is no B execution coming through. Afro has been dealt with. This is just an A push we have to flank onto, and Body now waiting at the bottom of connector. Could find the timing onto Psycho, who's continuing to advance, and all he has to do is push into the toilets, and he'll give the info to his team that this is actually the B execute from LDLC. They have a smoke to put down and secure the bomb plant as they're protected from heaven, but Crazy are quickly rotating, and LDLC are slowly clearing the B site. Nades being dropped, 6 are finally arriving to plant, but it's now the 3-on-2 for the Ukrainians to try and execute. Molotov and HE available to complement the smoke and flash that Crazy have. 3 players, it looks like. Short and CT aggression. 6 has found the first onto Psycho, leaving it in the 2-on-2. Kits available on both players, so plenty of time to work with for Crazy, as Body has the short position for himself. 6 has actually rotated around here as well. Molotov going down onto the bomb. Do they have the smoke to cover it though? Sensei's burning alive, but he's got the defuse. Crazy have done enough to win the round. The hero flame defuse. Body gets 2 at the end, but it's not enough.
The jaws of defeat there, that absolutely looked like the moment where LDLC tighten their grip on the half and extend their lead further, but Crazy seeking that defuse with 4 HP remaining, able to get it, and LDLC, that must just be harrowing for them to lose by a fraction of a second there. And they are able to buy up into it fully though. Their economy in absolute ruins.
That momentum that LDLC had is completely dissipated with that loss. That was their chance to really start stringing it back, to break the Crazy streak again, and it just all goes wrong there in the 2-on-2. It's completely misplayed in the late scenario, and now Crazy have that real opportunity of building a 7-round streak after being 8-0'd at the beginning of the half. Body's looking for the counter boost, which is a very risky strat over towards the B bomb site, and Psycho's punished him for it. Double dink from the counterpart M4 leaves LDLC a man down once again.
That's a great read from Crazy there to know that boost was coming through and to tear Body's head clean off. Afro now with only 20 HP. He's going to be, well, taken down as Toxic will find his legs. And Crazy, a 2-man advantage going into this.
This should be the easy conversion from them now. All the players on either site have to do is hit their entry kills. If they can find 2 of the incoming 3 players, 1 player per living Crazy defender is certainly enough to make these retakes viable. If they had 1 kill per A defender, it would all be over rather quickly indeed. Now LDLC are looking to wrap into this A site against the 5 remaining CTs. In the penultimate round of the half, they've chosen not to save their weapons forward into the last, and they're going to walk straight into this stacked up A bomb site from Crazy. Hadji completely blind, but he's not given his position away yet. Eventually does push round, but Psycho takes him out. 6 down, Lambert 2, and 6 isolated in the 1-on-3s. Found his next shot, but 3 more kills to find, missing the long range and losing out close range with the Deeg as well.
Demq able to absolutely shut him down, and Crazy now looking like they're going to find their 7th round on the bounce now, as they're going to be able to buy up into this fully. LDLC are going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for their buy. 6 are the only real player with an economy. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a open armor, and then hopefully they'll use that to open up a site.
Well, we said Crazy would have had to win 6 out of the next 8 rounds in order to recover this half somewhat, and they've done just that now. one more for the bonus, and that's 7 in a row. Sergey, so aggressive. Orp no scope onto Afro. Takes him down. And look at that utility damage. The spray through the smoke from Toxic even takes body down. And LDLC, what on earth has happened to them? Haji finds the kill into the B bomb site, but this side 8-0'd and then double rushed. I mean, okay. Maybe they didn't double rush, but they did 3 fairly standard rounds, assuming that they'd already broken Crazy's mindsets, and they really just threw their lead away in this half.
Absolutely kickstarted the comeback for Crazy now. And we see that they found their confidence. They found their easy spot as Sensei just able to run into short with that. Oh, that's exactly what we've like to see from Crazy. That's exactly the Crazy we know. And that aggression just working for them absolutely perfectly. As we're going to see LDLC now shifting up from Monster. Dixer just clearing what he can.
Finds Psycho first. Headshot secured, but 3 more to find. Demq up close. This AK can be lethal, and it's already found Lambert. Haji at least gets the trade and leaves it in the 2-on-2. Sixer spots the Heaven player, but doesn't fire the shot and give his angle away. Instead, he looks to plant the bomb and have Haji cover him at close range. Sensei trying for the wall bang, but not landing the shot just yet. Serg is looking for the opening kill, but he's not found it. Haji's only on 1 HP, but he's still alive, and against an AWP, it's going to have no significance whatsoever. He takes it down, and LDLC at the very end break the streak, but it's still an impressive comeback from Crazy, and they might just still be alive in their opening pick here.
Absolutely. The gauntlet has been firmly thrown down by Crazy as if they've been kicked, but they're by all means not out. And what a shot from 6 there onto Psycho. Tearing his head clean off and opening that B site with complete ease.
Necessary, absolutely necessary. Of course, it's Haji to get a quad kill in that round as well, just to win one back for the French. I think that is incredibly significant mentally for LDLC as well. They just could not have lagged at that 7-round streak at the end. Just winning the one back, proving that they hadn't been completely knocked out by that pause. It's not that Crazy were being completely ruined by technical issues and LDLC were doing nothing right. They've proven that they can win rounds in the reasonable scorelines, and our partners over at LootBet still have them as the favourites on this first map. 1.27 odds for them and 3.41 for Crazy. They are desperate for this T-side pistol to try and tie things up.
Absolutely, and if they were to get anything, it has to be this pistol round for Crazy. They've done so well to get those 6 rounds, but they are still at a disadvantage, and this pistol round is exactly what they need to cover that distance to make it 9-9 when they go into that full buy round.
Well, here we go, folks. Crazy on their map pick. They were 8-0 at the beginning of that first half, but clawed it back to the 9-6 finish, and now with the T-side pistol, they look to attempt to tie up the scoreline and recover their first map pick here on Overpass. It's early B holding from LDLC in this round as aggression towards Fountain from Haji yields no kills at the beginning. He falls straight back into the A site now, and Crazy, they were in connector early, but now they look to push A. LDLC have just about rotated in some more players in time.
Actually caught off guard there. But find one, unfortunately he won't as the push comes on.
Demq overwhelms Sixer as well in the A bomb site. 3-on-5 retake now needed for the French. Now Body and Afro are both on the flank. Lambert doesn't have any body armor to fight with, but these French players are not hitting USPS headshots in this round, and that is just impossible to work with when you're on the CT side. It's perfect from Crazy. They lose no players in the T side pistol. They pick up 7 and put themselves in a great spot to secure that tie scoreline.
Absolutely. And that was exactly what Crazy needed. We saw that Haji caught off guard when he went for an aggressive peek there, and it just allowed Crazy to cover the distance. Haji unable to find a kill as he backs on away, and Crazy just went with the execution, taking the 5 versus 2 for the site. As LDLC now going to be forcing up as well. It'll be a scout in the hand of Sixer. Every bit of info here. As Psycho covers the distance. That nade did such a large amount of damage to him, considering doesn't have any armor at all.
Rifles and a MAC-10 out and hungry. Psycho praying that there's someone at close range he can feast on, but LDLC are out A long for the moment. They have pushed Haji's Deagle into the toilets, and he picks it out just at the right time to find Psycho. Gets the MAC-10 back now, and an automatic weapon, at least in the hands of LDLC. They've got the opening kill in this force, but the firepower firmly still with it. Crazy. A 6-set would love this kill if he can get it. Sensei down to 31. He's not regressing towards long, and this is a decent start from LDLC.
Absolutely. And actually, holding on to that max 10, you're going to have to be that catalyst now. As Six are going to tag up these players, will be on Haji to try and take them down. Six are actually aggressing even further into toilets. Might catch off Sensei in playground now. And party, my apologies.
Even if he can just find another tag, Sixer, it makes those Deagles so much more potent. Afro's found the next kill. Haji as well. Uh-oh for Crazy. This is not how the second round is supposed to go at all. Now it's just 2 Galils left to pull this off, and they have 98 health between them to work with.
Absolutely, and...
Oh yeah, no time. It's all over. They can't even go for the plant. My word, LDLC, what a powerful round.
Completely dismantling that push from Crazy there. We saw that controlled aggression towards toilets. Even though it looked a bit risky, it paid off absolutely perfectly for them. Six are able to tag up those players, allowing Haji just spray at distance, taking them down with complete ease there. As LDLC hit double digits, 10-7, they lead.
Well, the Tech 9s are out for Crazy, and if there's one thing I know about Tech 9s, it's that the players holding them like to move and left click incredibly quickly in rounds like this. They need the close range, and they need that high fire rate. LDLC, they've not gone for the full investment, just upgraded onto the armor that they need and kept the weapons in hand, as they know themselves that they're likely going to be up against at minimum a diminished Crazy buy, worse than the last round, and they managed to win the last round with worse weapons than they have in this one. So as long as they can play it correctly, keep the Galil and AK in the important positions, and use players like Body up close to find the first kills with MAC-10s, that's how this round can start off well for Crazy. If they find the opening kill, DemQ does it onto Body. That's the regrettable decision for LDLC, as now they have to fight back from the 4-on-5.
Absolutely, and again, playing bonus from LDLC means that they're going to get these close angles. However, they are at risk of being completely shut down in these range wars, especially at close range. As well, the far range from these Galils, close range from these Tech 9s. And we saw it there. We saw them fight and expend a lot of utility, actually, for that initial fight towards B short. Crazy having won it. I'm just going to back on away. They know that LDLC don't have the utility to fight for it again. As we see only a small amount of defensive utility from LDLC. Just be 2 smokes remaining now after they chuck that. And Crazy themselves only really have enough for maybe an execute, maybe a bit of a fake if they only use 1 smoke. As they do have only 35 seconds left now. Sixer gonna be playing for that info there.
LDLC are convinced this is a B execute, but they're completely wrong in their call. They've left Sixer alone with this AWP. Haji's just arrived with a Galil, but the site is all but under Crazy's control. Haji needs to be careful with the timing of that flash, as he's about to get overwhelmed. He's got 2 kills with the Galil, but Sixer's been overwhelmed, and now Haji's been found. Lambert, or Afro, looks to push through the smoke with his AK, and what a heroic decision it was. He's found all 3 kills. Now looks for the defuse and saves that round for LDLC.
A beautiful 3K from him there, able to flick up, find the head of that player in mid-air. As we see how those Tech 9s being so effective when they move. Afro just spray control of a master there as he finds the remaining 3 players and secures LDLC, their 11th.
Such a gamble to go straight through the smoke like that, and it very nearly did not work out in his favor. The pistols dealt damage. They looked like they might remove him, but he held strong and allowed LDLC 11. Now Crazy have to take pretty much the full eco. Just Psycho buying up to equalize his money with the rest of the side. This should be the easy 12th converted from LDLC, and Crazy once again are going to be fighting back from a hefty round deficit.
Absolutely. We're going to see Haji almost spotting that player in Connector. Toxic going to be tagged up a fair bit. I'm not sure if he heard it though. And even though those will be going for no armor and deals, it's still be deadly. Haji attempting to tag down Toxic. It's messy, but it works. And Fixer saving his life as he looks to fall on away there.
They avoid losing any early rifles, which is very good news when you're up against these pistol forces. DemQ now falling. This looks to be rather cleanly converted as Sergis' shadow is punished by Sixer's AWP. Sensei isolated and alone with just his deagle, and paranoid that he may be being flanked as well. He makes his way around and out the bathrooms, but he'll be strafing straight into the crosshair of an AWP should he move out here. Sixer deciding to play slightly passively. In fact, it's Haji at close range who'll be looking to clean him up, and maybe Sensei will find one, but Body gets it done in the end. 12-7 the scoreline confirmed for LDLC. Can Crazy afford the AWP? That's the question on my mind. No looks like the answer to it. We'll have to see whether or not that's significant in the upcoming buy.
Absolutely, and LDLC, with only one of themselves, they've been able to win that round so cleanly. They're able to build an economy, and if a player falls and they're still able to win the round, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a rebuy of another AWP in the hands of potentially Lambert, who only has a Galil at the moment.
That could be a very interesting prospect indeed. Crazy looking for that B aggression. Haji's got to be careful. He's found the damage advantage at least. He's come up on top of that fight, but he goes over aggressive, and that lets Toxic rip his head off on the trade. Lambert's thinking about pushing as well, but he knows that would be the wrong call. Six is here with an AWP, actually. Now he's waited for the Galil to arrive in support, but he's whiffed that shot. He's deterred Crazy from attacking B, though. They've read this heavy presence from LDLC, and they start to make their way over to A. Long.
As 4 versus 4, going to be fairly easy for LDLC. Crazy going to be advancing from just one position. This long push will be a bit of a Hail Mary for them. They do have the utility to do a full A take, so I'm kind of surprised for such a commitment towards long. I think they may have been worried about some aggression from LDLC. We saw Crazy do something similar a couple of rounds ago.
It's a gamble call now from LDLC. Do they remain split across A and B, or do they rotate up early? They're not in the fast rotating positions. It looks like they're desperate for the monster smoke to dissipate so that they can then rotate up to the A site. This flash should at least bring Afro over, but Body's done all the work needed. Hefty damage with this M4 as he looks for his 4th in the round. Sensei will at least deny that. But on 10 HP, he'd need 3 kills to his name, and LDLC finish it off with Sixer. 13-7, they dispatch the Crazy buy, and now they are in a great spot to close out this first map.
Absolutely, and that's just an absolutely brilliant 2-game for Body that single-handedly saving them from that execution to come on forward, making LDLC's life so easy. The only player falling, I think, was Sixer, and he's able to just pick up that AWP again and go into this with relative ease as Crazy onto just pistols and body armor. We're trying to see a fast play towards Connector, maybe A from the looks of it, as Toxic leads the charge.
Sixer has backed away. That makes me panic slightly less for his chances of survival in this round, as those pistols could have quite quickly overwhelmed him in the connector stairs. And I love this from LDLC, the timing. They just back off and back off and back off to more and more passive positions. And against the pistols, of course, that's the right call. And they're advancing now, every member of Crazy, through toilets and A mid as they put their 2 smokes down. Sixers found the first shot, looking for the second. Can't find that, but the rotations are already on their way.
Sixer maintaining this aggressive position as he's able to just spam with that deal, finding another for himself. Sol on Sergis, he feels on away. Sixer, by some miracle, is able to survive that, falling away with just 11 HP.
Trying this Sergis to find anything more, but none given to him. He'll only get 1 kill in the round, and that's all Crazy will find as well. It's 14-7 now. Looking ahead to this gun round, this is it. Crazy are at death's door. They're drinking from the last chance saloon. They lose this gun round. Their opponents have map point, and they'd have to come back from a 15-7 deficit to force overtime on their own pick in this semi-final. They're at a really tough moment in this series.
We are going to see a timeout come through from Crazy. And if you're in Crazy's position, what do you do to win this? Well, we've seen that they've played time and time again with these fast plays towards Connector, trying to capitalize off that. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked. And so we'll have to see just how they do in terms of their position towards B. We see the amount of utility that gets expended as well to maintain that B short control. And Crazy, once they take short, we see them just leave it. We don't really see them capitalize off it or use that position to their advantage.
And now the double AWPs have come out as well for the LDLC side. Afro on the secondary, Sixer on the primary. But right now, not too much early aggression. LDLC, oh, look at that from DemQ. Punishes Lambert just for having a jump peek. And that's the opening kill found. I was about to say, this is great from LDLC. Don't over-aggress. Don't give away that first kill in a round as important as this, but they don't really have much choice about it. Lambert just taken down early.
And actually, Hadji, this aggression could be absolutely perfect for him as he comes through tunnel. Spot DemQ and able to take him down. Sixer as well, finding Sergey. As Crazy. Very difficult position now.
Oh.
Sixer. Just playing out of his mind right now. Body as well finds Toxic. And the support from LDLC for each other, absolutely beautiful. We see that they're just able to completely shut down any push coming out from both Crazy and LDLC.
What a great round there from the French. They lose that opening kill, and then it's just tactical aggression. That's all it is. They push Hadji up slowly, B short. He wins his gunfight. Sixer aggressively in the toilets wins both of his as well. And just like that, the man advantage, despite earning it from Crazy, they fall away in that round and now have to fight back from map point. Hadji looking for one at the start of the round, and he'll get it at least. But DemQ is looking for more towards the B side of the map. He's trying to now flash himself out, but Body removing his poor movement from the round now and leaving his side in the man advantage to secure out the opening map of this semi-final.
Absolutely, and LDLC just categorically shutting down Crazy. I say that as Psycho's able to capitalize off an 8 versus 3. Afro falling to Sergers as well. And this could be exactly what Crazy needs. The trades went left and right. However, they were eventually able to secure it as goes into a 2 versus 3. Now Sergers going to spot that player come out of connector as well.
There is actually a lot of cash on this LDLC side, but they would still rather save. And to be honest with you, as soon as you've got 15 rounds, you can save whenever you want, because you literally only need to win one. Play whatever economic game you want to work with. They know they're stretching out their opponents by. If they can find any exits, that's great, but they'd rather make sure they have the largest potential number of gun rounds in the bank despite losses, right? If they can save these rifles forward and it gives them another reserve round they can take and still get a buy on the board, then why not go for it?
Absolutely, and Crazy now gonna be in a, well, even though they're able to win that round, it's gonna be comfortable for them. They do still have a mountain to climb, and we are gonna see a double AWP setup come through from LDLC again now. Sixer and Lambert both gonna hold those AWPs firmly. Crazy on the other hand just gonna maintain that AWP on Sensei. And even though that worked perfectly for them last round, it was still a bit messy. They didn't really win through an execution, they won through trades, and that can be very difficult to replicate. Again, LDLC taking this top mid control. Taking fountain control, that is. Taji.
Oh.
His head being taken clean off by Sergey there.
This time the calculated aggression not working out so well for LDLC. DemQ just ruining Lambert as well. Can't even get the refrag. He's found Body. This round looks like it all might be over. Crazy just took this one by the horns, wrecking LDLC in every gunfight and leaving Sixer on his own with the AWP. He's made his way into connector, but DemQ's still hungry for kills. He's got the info now, and do Crazy want to hunt this? I'm not too sure. The money might just be there for LDLC to buy. Whoa! Okay, Sixer. A little bit unnecessary. He might just survive with this sniper.
The man's going 25 to 11. He's definitely feeling it right now, and I think that all but shows it. Tearing the head clean off of Sergey there with a bit of flair to it as well. But no, with a quick scope as well onto Psycho. And Crazy losing man after man as they try and shut down Sixer. A man at the moment is a behemoth, unable to be stopped.
He preserves that AWP. That's the important factor. A couple of players had relatively low money, primarily him, but he now doesn't have to buy the sniper in this round. He just managed to save it forward from that last. I'm desperate to see this shot again. This was brilliant. Check that 360 out. Goodbye, Sergiz. Unfortunately, no AWP for you, as the late round triple is the consolation prize for LDLC, but they are hunting for this map, and they really don't want to lose control of this map in the latter stages. Sixer deciding not to go intensely aggressive at the beginning of this round, as LDLC looks slightly confused in mid. They start to back off to the A site now, and Lambert, he's not jump peeking that angle anymore.
Absolutely, and after losing his head before, who can blame him? I think LDLC now showing a bit of fear and a bit more respect towards this crazy T side. You see that late monster smoke going to buy themselves a bit more time as Crazy maintaining that B short control. We see him pushing up, getting Fountain a bit later, but they are still going to maintain that control.
Holding. Or LDLC, not pushing, not retreating, but holding. Sixer might have to start retreating. He re-aggresses, and that is punished by Toxic. Body's in this smoke, and he's crept through the other side. There's a player he's looking for. Back through the other side of the smoke now, to the safety of his teammates, perhaps, as Psycho. The Traces is what he's trying to punish. Body's found yet another one. Does he know there's a killer that's made all his way behind him? I have absolutely no clue, but he's still finding frags. Into Connector goes Body, and a triple in the round. He's now being hunted on the flank by Toxic. Body might not have the info on this, doesn't turn around in time. It's the 2-on-3, but there's more long aggression that could come through from LDLC.
And Crazy, they've only got 20 seconds left. This is not in their favor at all. It's all on Sensei. And that's an absolute miscommunication from Crazy to allow Body to just continuously run through that smoke, shutting down players left, right, and Sensei. And Lambert staring at Sensei, but he will find him eventually, able to take him down. And securing LDLC map 1.
Well, what a shock victory that was. Played twice in the last 3 maps, according to HLTV. 1-0 times. So Crazy thought, what an easy pick at the beginning of this series. And it's an easy win for us, but it was far from that on this first map here. LDLC making a dominant statement in this semi-final as they trample Crazy on their own map pick, and now look ahead to Inferno, which LDLC have picked into this series, and they won it yesterday. This is looking great so far from them.
Absolutely. And yeah, we just look at these highlights here. For you, who do you think was the best player of the match for LDLC and or Crazy? You know, both teams playing out of their minds. Unfortunately for Crazy, even though they were able to kind of bring it back towards the end of that first half, the damage had kind of already been done by LDLC there.
I definitely think you're right. I think for my money on the LDLC side, while Body was certainly waking up towards the end of that map, Hadji was really the flashy player that was helping them dominate at the beginning and really build that early foundation, I feel. So from LDLC side, I'll give it to him. And I want to commend Psycho's performances early on. Despite being plagued by technical issues, he was performing well and still trying to make it work for his team, despite the deficits they were at. So hopefully they'll be able to be slightly revitalized now heading into Inferno and will have resolved the issues that were plaguing them on Overpass. Crazy now fighting to stay alive in the semi-finals, everyone, as LDLC look to 2-0 on Inferno. Up next, we'll have that map ready to go just after this break.
shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best nickel fights I've been to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Well, LDLC made a statement on Crazy's map pick of Overpass, dominating them in the proceedings of this first map to charge us straight into LDLC's pick of Inferno up second to see whether they can earn themselves an early spot in those grand finals later today and a shot at that $25,000 grand prize. My name is Protalis, and joining me once again for this series is, of course, Kremer. How are you feeling looking ahead to Inferno?
I'm still kind of shell-shocked from that Overpass result. We saw LDLC absolutely decimate Crazy for the opening chunk of that map. Again, Inferno, a map we've seen played before by Crazy and LDLC, and for it to be LDLC's map pick again, having earlier this month played against Crazy and beat them 16-10 on Inferno, it's going to be very interesting to see if Crazy are able to kind of claw their way back into this and potentially win the rematch on Inferno. But if Overpass was to set the pace at all, or if it was to say anything about the rest of this series, I stand corrected, and LDLC are absolutely in line to take this 2-0.
It certainly looks like that at the moment. I definitely would have given Crazy a chance here on Inferno if they'd done well on Overpass. If they'd won their map as they had expected to have done and done it in convincing fashion, I'd certainly have said that, listen, with the momentum in their favor, they can come into an Inferno and potentially upset LDLC here. But the issue is that the majority of Crazy's success in that map, it was just all in the first half. They lost 8 rounds in a row, and then they mounted that 6-round or so comeback. But since then, they just looked really isolated across their opposite side when they switched onto the T side of things. They won the pistol, but then lost out that force next. And they did earn a couple of rounds in their favor, but they were largely separated. And ultimately, LDLC just had the momentum in their favor and looked incredibly comfortable towards the end of that map.
Absolutely, and again, if they're comfortable on a map they've only played twice in the last 3 months on HLTV, then we can only imagine a map they've played 14 times, probably one of their primary maps in this veto. And I think from the looks of it, Inferno and Nuke being their most comfortable maps, based on time played on each of them, it's going to be very interesting to see how Crazy try and respond to LDLC's Inferno. We saw that on Overpass. What played to their detriment was that they were just too aggressive. We saw that they just kept wanting to push and push and push, and that ended up stacking up to the point where they were unable to get any real control after the trades go back and forth. They're left with players out of position who have got that trade, got that aggression, but unable to hold it because it's a 3v3. So they fall on back. LDLC just able to walk through and regain that control without any ground really gained by the aggression that we see from Crazy. And so whether or not they're able to counteract that, we saw them kind of get a groove for it for the closing rounds of the half, but at that point the damage had already been done. You know, LDLC were already 8-0 up. So whether or not we're able to see rinse and repeats of Inferno, and if LDLC are able to run away with this initial few rounds, or if Crazy are able to kind of show them up, having got a groove for how they play, as we did see them get a bit of a second wins towards the end of map 1, and we'll have to see if they can transfer into map 2.
It's interesting that you mentioned the over-aggression from Crazy being to their detriment on the CT side of Overpass, because actually, when mistakes get made by LDLC on Inferno, it's virtually the same scenario. It's over-aggression towards Banana or mid and losing the opening kills that then provides that breathing room towards the T side. But I will mark it with the caveat by saying that there is a reason LDLC do get aggressive on that CT side. In a lot of occasions, they are able to wrestle that opening kill in their favor and secure the early advantage. It looks as though we have the knife round just about ready to go for you, ladies and gentlemen. Both sides once again going to be looking for the CT start here on Inferno. And interestingly enough, Kremer, LDLC, when they did against Illumina on this map just recently yesterday, they actually started poorly on the CT side and recovered greatly on that T side. So Crazy could be in a lot of trouble either way here.
We'll have to see just what they can get done. As the knife round goes underway, going to be a fairly convincing win for LDLC there, even though the HUD's a bit... The HUD seems to be wrong there, as it was LDLC who won that, even though it says Crazy. The switch probably going to come through as well, as it did go through. Going to be LDLC starting on that CT side.
I wouldn't be surprised to see LDLC pick the T side at the start here. Quite often, see French sides do that to try and take control of the early pace, even if it's the disadvantageous side of a map, and if they're feeling confident enough after overpass, I don't see why they don't try and attempt it. Carry that momentum early, demolish Crazy CT side first, and then force them to switch on to the more difficult side later on. It looks as though they are going to be electing for the strong start. Try and build the early platform of rounds, and then see what you have to work with on that T side.
Absolutely, and as the round just about to get underway, I do really want to see LDLC. We see how they prefer this double AWP setup. Something that I have seen a lot of teams do recently that has worked perfectly for them is this aggression towards second mid, chucking a flash over apps and getting that swing towards balcony. I would like to see that done a lot more often. I think for Crazy being such an aggressive team, they're going to prefer these fast plays, these fast app control takes. And so for LDLC to get that initial info, it's going to prove to be absolutely amazing for them if they can do it successfully.
Indeed, it will be. Our partners over at LootBet thinking things are going to be a much more balanced affair here over on Inferno. 1.82 ever so slightly favouring LDLC. Now, for my money, it's slightly more towards LDLC in this one. Definitely Crazy with more of an outside shot here. But if they can start strong on the T side, it's not impossible they claim victory.
Absolutely. I'm going to see that initial fight taken on mid. Lambert being tagged down a little bit. Sixer, of course, peeking towards top mid. He's going to hear those steps going towards mid. Lambert opening up, fighting Sergey. Hadji going to fall on down. He's going to take that second bit of contact. Psycho going to exchange the fire with him. He falls on back, just hugging the hay bale rather than able to get into mid straight away. Sixer body down position. Body finding Toxic. The trades go left and right. Lambert finding two for himself. And Lambert finding his fourth as he takes down Sensi, allowing LDLC to get that first round.
No kills allowed at all for Crazy in that A bomb site. They are completely denied any kind of opportunity in the pistol, and absent plan, it looks like they might not even go for the force in the second round. Instead, they want to try and get the bomb down in this one and then look for the full investment into round 3 slightly early on than it otherwise would be. Early utility deploying in the usual positions for LDLC, but Crazy right now just stacking up in second mid, holding for any French aggression. Right now, the CT is not inclined to give it to them.
Absolutely. We're actually going to see Body pushing down towards Banana, getting complete Banana control. They'll spam through that smoke, almost taking down DemQ, as the remaining players from Crazy stacked up in towards Zaps, hoping to get a bit of an explosion coming out from balcony. Because we've seen Lambert and Hadji show themselves in this map for that pistol round. We'll have to see if they can do the same for this eco. If LDLC can find that conversion, Six are going to be swinging on long as well, hoping to spot that player as they push towards mid. He will, and rather than fight, he's actually just going to fall on away, using that info to his advantage. As Lambert opens it up, tearing the head off Sensei. He's almost going to find a second there. Sixer pushing, finding DemQ. Lambert finding one of them. Hadji on the cleanup crew, and with that, LDLC find themselves a very clean second, actually.
More importantly, perhaps they deny that bomb plant as well. They deny the extra cash and the extra utility to the Crazy side. But LDLC are looking for the bonus round up here. 2 MP9s to be brought forward, needed to be utilized at close range. And actually, there's only 1 M4A4 up against 3 AKs and a couple of Galils. You definitely argue that Crazy have the firepower advantage in this round, albeit with slightly limited utility. They still should be able to get something done, at least a bomb plant.
Absolutely. And Crazy now with that full buy, we've seen that utility used towards Banana, retaking it, preventing that Banana control to be taken from LDLC. But of course, off the back of that peak, Afro is going to be that lone man. That piece like that nade's going to be absolutely perfect as it lands on Psycho and Sergey. But LDLC looking to stack 4 players towards the safe site.
Just playing Hadji on quick rotation towards the archway, just in case that contact B play does come through, and that will be the call from Crazy in this round. They're completely backing away from A at the moment, and this has worked out early on, but the longer they take to aggress into B, the more time LDLC have to second guess themselves and go for rotations. DemQ gets peeked by all 4, and now the MP9's looking to aggress through mid. They find second mid is clear, and this should be information that the B bomb site is under an intense amount of pressure. Afro, incredibly dangerous position. He aggresses through the smoke and finds the kill, and now awaits the arrival of his team.
He's able to get away as well. Sergey will find Haji to trade, and eventually Afro will fall, but the damage has been done. There's 30 seconds left, and LDLC able to start this retake before that bomb's even put down. Sixer trying to spam down Psycho as he runs on away. The push will be there from Body. He's going to be at the ready to take down any close members. Body finding Psycho. Rainbow will be there. Toxic finding one. Sergey finding one of his own. It's all on Body now. 1 versus 2. He'll take down Toxic against Sergey now. Sergey low. Body already on 3 this round. As that'll be all the utility expended. That tap comes through. The push to follow from Sergey. He needs to move fairly quickly, actually. He chooses otherwise. As Body, like he will tap it once more. And the time is ticking. He doesn't have the time at all. He will be able to take down Sergey. And does he have enough time? That bomber's sticking extraordinarily close. And he does! He's able to win that 1 versus 2 with a fraction of a second left. LDLC will find that 3rd round.
Quad kill there from Body as he proves to the world just why he is the most impactful statistical player on that LDLC side. And it really looked dangerous at the start when Crazy were pushing into that B bomb site. Yes, it was a 4-on-5, but they had early control secured. They found Haji, who tried to get a bit too aggressive through the smoke to support his teammate, and they still have the AKs alive in this round. They're up against a much healthier LDLC buy in this round, though, and Sixer is already begun by removing Sensei, yet to find kills so far in the map, and Crazy struggling again at the start of Inferno.
And again, we just see how effective LDLC can be with this early aggression. Let's say falling before the round's even begun. Body going to be on an aggressive position himself. He's going to smoke that Molly, trying to fake a presence towards sandbags. The flash will come through. The swing will be there. However, Crazy, give me a bit more respect to LDLC. Not peeking without a flash. Molly goes down. The push is there. Body instantly finds one. Almost finding a second as well, though. The trade is there, though, from Toxic. Afro going to be that lone player again. He's been more than capable when we saw him fight for this B site alone before. See if he can get it again, though.
He's dropped the smoke, and there is a teammate in the form of Lambert arriving to hold on this defense. Crazy are going to try and attack this B bomb site again, but they have no smoke. Oh, they do. 1 smoke for CT left in hand. That is the important one, but it looks like they're yet to put it down. Eventually, it's being dropped, but not in the angle I thought it was going to be. It's trying to obfuscate vision from the fountain instead, and a very unorthodox push from Crazy here, really not working out. Toxic, the Molotov forces him back, and now he's in a 1-on-4.
And Crazy, they're going for a rat in ruins before they crunch on the site, realizing that it probably won't be a player deep CT. And the thought was there, but Lambert reacted to that absolutely beautifully. He fell all the way back into ruins, knowing the rat will come, and just took the Angel on the off angle. And that was all he had to do. Crazy falling to his teammate, of course, who was supporting him from New Box. And that was beautifully reacted by LDLC there.
They dispatch the second full gun round from Crazy and force the Ukrainian players down on to the pistols. Only one in the form of Sensei, absent armor to save for his AWP, and Sixer needs to be careful of second mid, and he knows it. Now repositioning in the slightly more defendable angle as he does back towards A short, and it's all about pace from these Tech 9s. They've got to get up close and personal. Sensei's on just a Glock, so put the bomb on his back and send him in for a dedicated plant. Allow the rest of the team to do the early damage.
Flashes go off. Crazy looking for a fast push towards A, but that utility usage is absolutely perfect. There's going to be 1 player on long, and Tech 9 is actually doing a great job patching falling. It's all on Lambert now to do all the damage, and he'll be dispatched instantly by DemQ there. And Crazy with pistols have been able to do it. They've got that A site. That plant's going to come on through. Body at a close angle to prevent not too many players from leaving the site. As he'll be able to get towards Haybear without being spotted. Afro in absence as well. Toxic as well. He'll be taken down.
They're looking to advance his Body at the close angle, but time's ticking away and no more kills have yet been found by LDLC. They're still committing, but these flashes, they need to leave. There's not enough time to pull off this execution. Afro's down on just 12 HP, but still LDLC go, and still they are punished. Sixer retreating with the AWP as the only weapon to save, but he's being hunted down rather quickly indeed by the pistols. Crazy, they have picked up their first, and a great job working their way into that A site.
Sixer not wanting to depart with that AWP without a fight. However, he will eventually be taken down, and Crazy fighting there first. And that was a really beautiful afterplant played by them. We saw that player in pits not wanting to peek unless he was mollied out. Of course, no molly came. So he only really peeked towards the end of the round when he knew that even if he died, there's still 3 players there to help him. and it meant that LDLC didn't really get any chance at all to get a foothold in this round. Or a foothold in the retake, my apologies, as we're going to be forced, well, we're going to see them get forced onto just pistols and the odd bit of armor from mid. Sensei ready for it, body falls.
MQ dispatches Lambert as well. Fairly easy pickings for the crazy side. At the start of this round, Afro trying to hold an aggressive position in that smoke, but it definitely looks like he might be anticipated here. He's trying to use the smallest of gaps right now to try and spot out a player like Sensei, but it's Sergis close he needs to be worried about. Surely he's just spotted him out, but instead repositioning close on the angle. It looks like he might have the drop. Misses his shots, but Haji's opened up with a double in the apartments. Expensive at least, an AK recovered. Free B bomb site for Crazy, though, means it's likely still to be their round.
And if Haji's fast enough, he might be able to catch off these players before they even leave Banana. Thinks they're going to be there to support him as well, but both choose that. A save is going to be all they need to do. They did amazing to get those 2 guns, and saving them is going to be fairly advantageous for their economy as they both retreat towards that T-spawn.
It'll be the second on the board for Crazy, and with 3 alive, they start to build an economy of their own, but the full buy from LDLC is coming through in the next round, and they have the economic bonus to work with of the fact that they have 2 additional rifles saved forward from this round. So expect the French to come out swinging in that next one and try and deny Crazy a way into this opening half. If the CIS side can get 6 or 7 rounds on this T side, it's an ideal position for them to be in when they do switch over towards the CT side of things, and LDLC would do well at the start of this map to deny them the early tied scoreline, and every opportunity, if they can avoid Crazy scoring, avoid them getting to milestones like 4-4, 5-5, etc, etc, if they can keep them at the deficit, that's the objective that LDLC want to bring forward through the map.
Absolutely, and we're going to see Crazy going to be matching the buy of LDLC. Won't see an AWP for LDLC. 6, unfortunately, saving a gun rather than dropping it to his teammate, trying to build a bit of economy behind it. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see banana control coming out from LDLC here with these rifles. Let's say on, just waiting for a peek to come through. I'm probably expecting a AWP to come on out, and as I said, a banana control comes through, and Crazy losing a segment of the map. Open it up.
Interestingly enough, for both of these sides, their win percentages on either half are virtually identical, decimal points between them. So LDLC, perhaps this becomes much more important for them to play the CT advantage, as it is rather balanced here on Inferno. Body goes aggressive towards Banana, and this is what we were talking about. When LDLC do make mistakes on that T side, it's generally over-aggression that forces the errors out, and unfortunately for them in this round, they've lost the opening 2 kills.
And again, that was almost undisciplined by LDLC there to push further, taking the fight, knowing that Crazy were in sole position to launch a retake on Banana there. The teammates on A didn't hear anything, they didn't see anything. The only bit of noise made on A was that spam through apps, meaning the likelihood is it was a setup for a Banana retake, and no one, well, I don't think Crazy would have expected to have 3 players there, so Lambert would have been in prime position to support his team as well. As we do have 30 seconds left now, the push comes out from Crazy towards the safe site, and Haji needs to go huge.
Needed the timing there, but just gave his position away, and the rest of LDLC just look to save. Sixer and Haji have enough money to drop their teammates' rifles, provided they can keep their utility on the board, so it might just be another gun round coming out from LDLC in the next to deny that tied scoreline. But Crazy are doing a much better job at the start of this half than they were in the last one. Away with this victory from tying things up on their T side and getting ever closer to hunting down that important 6-7 round score at the end of the half.
Absolutely. And Crazy gonna look to try and build a bit of economy. We see them not wanting to hunt down these LDLC rifles at all. LDLC, their economy looking pretty awful. Haji and Sixer can potentially drop their teammates, and that's going to be the only real guns they're going to have going into the next round. Crazy seem to know this as they hold on to their economy, wanting to build it further. Sensei on 6.4 now, but 5k around the board for most of Crazy. LDLC, even though they have that round advantage, they don't have the momentum, and a timeout's going to come through for LDLC.
Now that's really interesting from Body to buy an MP7. That indicates to me that Sixer is going to be dropping an M4 and then buying himself an AWP in this round, as Body has dropped out of this one, having some minor technical problems by the looks of things. Hopefully those will be resolved relatively quickly, though. And LDLC are certainly under pressure now in the half. CR4ZY have the opportunity to really force back that momentum, and I'm assuming there is a technical pause about to come through, or Body has actually just reconnected to the server in time. I think the pause literally just cut. It just came through as he arrived, so it would have been all right either way, but at least he needs that cash to be restored before the round comes forward. It's going to be a really interesting call, though, if he buys that MP7 for sure, because there is money to drop him a rifle. And, I mean, Sixer can drop a rifle to Afro and still buy himself an AWP, and Hadji can buy himself a rifle if that gets dropped forward. So there's really no reason for Body to take an MP7 here.
Absolutely, and again, losing that MP7 is going to be fairly detrimental to him because there's head armor on all of the CR4ZY side. The only real reason to have it would be maybe a close angle, maybe apps aggression, maybe taking banana again. Grant, they've done it a few times though already, so it might not work too well in their favor.
Can talk now about our partners over at Hellcase. You won't get bored with Hellcase. Use the promo codes you just saw to save more and grab what you deserve. You're absolutely right. It's risk central at the moment for LDLC, but they really cannot afford to lose control of this CT half. They need at least a decent 7-8 round scoreline here. We know they have a chance to come back on that T side, but as the easier side of things, it is very important for them not to lose control of this half. This is a decent buy, all things considered. Sixer's got an AWP. There's utility across the board. Just don't over-aggress and throw those players away early.
Absolutely. We'll have to see just what they could get done here with the limited, actually I say limited utility, they've got a fair bit of utility from LDLC. It wouldn't surprise me if we do see maybe a fake of banana control coming up. I do fully expect Sixer with that AWP to be peeking mids, trying to take that duel against Tensei. We've seen him win it once before as that double scope comes in, and CR4ZY looking for like a very fast banana control actually, as the nades go either way.
Damage more so dealt to LDLC than it is to CR4ZY. At the end of those opening engagements, utility favouring the CT side, you could argue. There's less flames remaining, but there were more smokes. Now they've all been deployed relatively early in the round, and Body may have just been very unlucky indeed pushing through that Molotov, although I'm not sure whether anyone was close enough to hear the sound cue, and in danger, he retreats at the perfect time to avoid being picked off early. It's a very dangerous start for LDLC. Somehow they avoid losing any defenders, but with 2 flashes left, they still have to defend against this crazy execution.
Here's down to just 1 flash now, and utility for LDLC absolutely destroyed. They've got 1 flash to hold against the full force of CR4ZY, who are absolutely feeling it for this map. We've seen them come back, we've seen them winning a around the map. Body able to find 1 through the smoke, maybe in a gap in it. Body actually finding a second onto Psycho as well. 30 seconds left now, and CR4ZY, 2-man disadvantage, need to move somewhere quickly. And Sensei backs on away. It looks like it will either be a commitment towards this B site or a save.
I think it may be the save call, as Sergis is backing away from his angles as well. It looks as though CR4ZY don't want to contest this one. Now, that's a really interesting call for my money.
Absolutely.
Those 3 players aren't going to get loss bonus, and they have plenty of cash in the bank. I don't know why you wouldn't at least look to try and wrestle some AKs away. Even if you're not going to look to win the end of that round, at least picking off a couple of LDLC players is going to check their money way more heavily than it is yours.
For sure, and I think Sensei, even though he has an AWP, full utility and armor, that, like, relatively, that's not too bad. Of course, if he loses, he would have had about 7.4, which is actually all you need to reinvest in that. And if LDLC, their economy isn't as good as yours, they can't afford a full investment with utility. And so, any form of battle like that would normally go in CR4ZY's side, even if they don't win the round. LDLC now with 3 players stacked up towards this B site again. Maybe looking for banana control, but as the flames get stacked up, it looks like they are just going to delay it a little to prevent any push. As both players spam fruitlessly into the smoke.
No advantages awarded either way, but Sixer at the bottom right of that smoke might just spot some feet. Now it's dissipated. He has to be careful from being pushed from both sides, and he's quick enough and smart enough to know he shouldn't be sticking around in that position. Opening kill won by LDLC as Crazy now look to aggress up Banana, and Body jump peeking that is going to confirm that there's at least an AWPer watching. He's going to be flashed in by Afro as well. He might look for some kills here.
Flash could be deadly if it's at the right time. Flash goes on. Spin comes through, and unfortunately, Crazy have backed on away. They've decided to commit to this A-take. And Lambert appears to be wary of it. He's pushed up towards Long. Haji boosted up. Top of quad. It's going to be that point of contact. Lambert, if he swings at the wrong time, he's going to hear Sensei scoped in. But this goes on. Now Haji finding one. Lambert finding one of his own. And Crazy just collapsing. As Sensei able to find one before he's traded out. It's all on Toxic now. 1 versus 4. As he comes down from Apps. Lambert going to be at the ready for him. Bam comes through. He'll be taken down. Afro able to trade though. And that double op setup going to go into full play on Sixer and Afro now.
It certainly is. The momentum perhaps recovered a little bit by the CT side as Crazy's economy after the 3-round streak is starting to dry up a little bit. Double AWPs out again. Probably being utilized traditionally towards Banana and that A-mid in the early round. Sixer going for the opening pick yet again here at this point. And Crazy, it doesn't look like anything too special. They're sending Sergis out very aggressively. Lambert's completely blind, and that aggression from LDLC punished in the round. DemQ is ever so low at the moment, but they haven't found him back yet, the French. And this is what I've sort of been indicating about LDLC. They really love going aggressive, so much so that it can often fall foul for them.
Absolutely, and Afro getting the trade onto Sensei. So full on away, and LDLC really favouring this early round setup with 3 players towards B. I understand that, as we said, in the pre-game, how LDLC, if they're able to get this 5-round advantage, or 5 rounds going in their favour, they're going to be able to get this double up setup going, and they're going to be fairly unstoppable once they have it. And we can see that coming into play here as Crazy, they're going to have to expend so much utility just to clear angles before even getting towards the site. We see them with just a couple of smokes now and 2 mollies, which for them is potentially a setup and a half, maybe a fake, but then 1 hit. They don't really have the economy to convince too much of a fake. And looks like LDLC might be wary of it. They've gone for a 2-2 setup.
Smoke and Flash deployed towards A, but men deployed towards B. Banana, the point of attack in this round, and LDLC are rotating the wrong way at the moment. Body heading over towards the A side of the map puts Afro under an intense amount of pressure. He needs, at bare minimum, 1 kill with this AWP, but Body's flashed himself straight through. That's a mistake indeed. DemQ punishes him for it. Afro gets 1 before falling in the sight, but what on earth is Body thinking there? He gets way too aggressive. You can see that perhaps he's trying to drop the bomb or something in a limited time remaining scenario. Either way, it's just the absolute wrong call, and LDLC, it looks unlikely they'll be able to pull off this retake now.
Sure, and unless Haji can find this player towards well, he's really going to have some issues. That AWPer on New Box almost toying with Sixer, as Haji spots that player. That nade's going to do a little bit of damage, and he'll swing on wide, taking down Sergey's. And it looks like Sixer may have changed his mind. He's going to go on back, realizing that he could probably aggress here. But neither team committing to a push. Agi finding one. Agi almost finding a second though, as DemQ pushes towards Sixer and Crazy. Even though they get the rounds, they don't have the guns, and LDLC able to save. Guns going in to round 11.
You just have to think that in both of those situations, at the start of the round and just before that push comes in, if LDLC don't get aggressive, they win that round. They have the advantages in their favor. It seems to be a common theme of the CT side. They get too twitchy, too jumpy, and the realistic scenario here is that it's a gamble every time you go for it. Even if, you know, it's a 60-40 gamble in your favor every time you take one of these peaks, it is still a risk. And if you just risk it every round, eventually you are going to gift some, like the last, to your opponents.
Absolutely. And we are going to see Crazy now stacked up towards top mid, looking for a bit of mid control. We've seen Afro continuously take this aggressive position, keep push to the right side. Absolutely from Dempsey opening up, finding one side to find one of them. Actually able to find one more, but the trades go left and right. Sensei actually finding his teammate as this 2 versus 3 gets underway. Sergey's going to be towards close mid. That nade down towards Banana might allow him to be caught off guard by Afro. And he will be able to find one. He might hit that teammate. Well, he might hit his teammate behind him though. Lyco will find him. He'll fall on away. Sixer. They cover the distance with that CZ.
This is so tense. Psycho is really low. If Sixer can get the drop on him with the CZ, one bullet is all that's necessary, but he's safe in the site now. Sixer knows he has to depend on the AWP in this 1-on-2. Oh, he misses the top of the head. Gives his angle away, but lands the shot. That's a bit of a mistake. Why is Psycho gone out there? Really trying to bait out the position of his teammate, and there's not enough time for Sixer to get anything done now. He has to run away. Crazy. 1 round away from tying it all up, as it's great entering in the A bomb site for the Ukrainian side to do work on this T site.
Absolutely, and that's just perfect for LDLC there. Or, sorry, for Crazy there, LDLC. They were able to save the AWP. They were able to maybe show the inklings of a retake. Unfortunately, the timing just wasn't there to catch out Sensei. He was able to get towards that site, and the shot just missed by a hair's breadth. As Crazy secure their 5th round, looking to tie it up now as the economy for LDLC. It's, well, that to be desired. We've got 2k on 3 of the remaining players without guns. It will potentially be just a full eco around the AWP in the hands of Sixer and then pass it down every time a player dies. As we'll see a timeout come through from LDLC again.
Well, both sides have a decent score built half. Crazy are looking for 6 built up at the minimum at the end of this half, but either way, it's not like either side can just dominate this map with a pistol round victory and charge off for the win. So regardless of how this half does end, both sides will have a decent amount of rounds to work with in the second to stay in proceedings on Inferno. You have to argue that Crazy are going to want the wins ever so desperately more in every round because they face elimination from this semi-final with a loss here on Inferno. And perhaps we can see it here in the upcoming one. 5 AKs or 4 and a Galil brought forward by Crazy as LDLC go for that forced investment. Sixer on the AWP. They run boost out towards mid. Oh, and he just about misses out on the shot. Sensei's low, but not removed.
Extremely well versed from LDLC there to get that run boost. It's almost a shame to see Sixer not quite get that kill. That would have been amazing to see. And with this force buy, LDLC, you've done a fairly good job to get Banana control, tag Sensei down a bit, and play for info. And now Sixer towards Boiler. He'll find that first player. Lambert able to find another. Sergey able to trade though. As bo3 from Banana find 2 of his own, and Hachi will find Toxic. And with that, LDLC make it 7, leading against Crazy there, and completely shutting down that push. Body, that swing from long, absolutely perfect. As shut down that Crazy push with the support of Hachi.
That was a brilliant read from LDLC. The last round before that was obviously the full gun round in which Crazy were basically allowed to just walk into the A-bomb site and shut it all down with those fast, aggressive opening kills. So when they go into the force, LDLC think, right, if we just dump as much utility as we can down Banana, they just won an easy round on A. They're probably going to think, oh, let's not go over here. Let's head over towards the A site instead, where we literally just dominated and make our way in once again. LDLC then stacked up that A-bomb site, played the timing perfectly, and Lambert, even though he only gets 1 kill in that round, he just creates time, creates that space, and every element of that LDLC defense showing up and working individually successfully at that point. It's dropped Crazy down onto a force of their own, and these MAC-10s and pistols need to be careful charging at close range against the shotgun of Body.
Absolutely, and Body will be laying in wait like a python in long grass as Lambert going to spot this push as well as he pushes towards second mid. It's a beautiful timing. Hachi and Lambert, it's open season for them. They find 3 quick kills, almost a 4th as well as Hachi doing so well for himself. It's all on Sensei. He will find Hachi as consolation, but Sixer says otherwise, and that push towards second mid is absolutely flawless from LDLC, completely shutting down Crazy and allowing them to, well, hit 8, securing them the half.
and putting Crazy's economy in a really poor position. The vast majority of T-side players below $2,000 in this round, and with the last round of the half coming up, what kind of a decision do you even make? It looks like the eco is the call from Crazy as they look to contest the last round. That should be 9-6 at minimum guaranteed for LDLC in this round, as it's just Glocks and a P250 against them in round 14. They'll be fighting for the 10-5 scoreline, and Crazy, they had the opportunity to come back into it, but unfortunately, it looks as though the door may have been closed in their face.
Absolutely. And we are going to see Crazy now stacks up outside this A site. They have no utility to speak of, so they are just going to have to hope to overwhelm any players that they encounter. And LDLC seem to know this. We see them stacking up towards center site, knowing that the trades are just going to have to come from the brute force of these guns. Whereas Crazy going to hope to look to catch a player off guard. Push comes in. It's going to be heard by LDLC as well. Sixer on long, going to spot that first player. Then comes forward, almost. Follow-ups there though. Lambert find that first player, baiting the players. Miking them towards the site as Hadji finds one, Sixer finds another. Lambert finds him. Lambert finds his third as well as he takes down Psycho. Hadji will fall, but it's for a good cause. LDLC find their ninth, so they lead 9-5 now against Crazy.
Perhaps the T-side looking in trouble as they do look now to deny the 10-5 scoreline. And what is this from the French? Triple snipers is out indeed. Triple AWPs looking for the early kills. How many of them are going to be peeking mid at first? Just the one in the hands of Lambert. They have an AWP on Afro in Banana, and they have an AWP on Sixer aggressively towards second mid. I feel very sorry for Crazy in this round.
We haven't seen this push towards apps at all yet. This could prove to catch a player off guard perfectly. Afro going to aggress on mid with a spot. Spot that first player, taking down Sergey. And that tells Crazy it's going to be a, well, double AWP setup. Little do they know though, Fixer is going to be laying in wait. Hadji will find MQ. Sixer finds Toxic. And then it falls down. The remaining two players stacked up on Banana for Crazy. This triple AWP setup, it's a bit unusual, but it works. And be Crazy now with just two players left as they extend towards the site. Sensei going wide. Body able to take him down though.
And through the smoke, Psycho may be finished off. He's found Body at the bare minimum, but there's just so much more to do in the half. He's seen the bullets arriving from his rear as well, but it's to the front that he's put down. LDLC get double digits again, but this time they get it done in the first half of their map pick. 10-5 on the easier CT side of Inferno. They switch on to the T side of things now and need just 6 to close out this semi-final 2-0 and book their spot in the grand finals later today. Crazy, desperate for the next pistol to try and claw their way back and push us on to Nuke as the decider.
Absolutely, and we will have to see just what Crazy are able to do on the CT side. They're going to have to pull something incredible, and it needs to start with this pistol round. They need to get this initial few rounds, get the anti-eco, find the conversions before they can even consider tying it up with LDLC and coming back in this second half. We look at our partners from Loot Bets. Crazy, the odds stacked considerably against them. Almost 5-1 in favor of LDLC.
I'd be agreeing with that at this point in time. LDLC look like they have a large degree of control over this map, and with 2 smokes and 2 flashes in this round, they're going to be looking for a utility-based execution. Afro pushing up Banana as far as he can, but Sergis has a CZ75 waiting in the wings, and that's a lethal weapon indeed. There are 2 HEs as well on the CT side to be used to rip apart some of these unarmored LDLC players, as Afro on the buffed weapon goes down early. It's now 2 armored pistols and 2 unarmored to make their way into A as the smokes fall.
And Toxic spamming fruitlessly through the smoke. We are going to see LDLC able to get towards the site as they come out of apps, but Crazy able to get short control very quickly. Those nades on towards site, going to do a bit of damage, and the flank is there. Sensei finds Body, and LDLC are completely surrounded. They've got such a difficult task ahead of them. Toxic and Hadji exchanging places in the smoke. There's Hadji being found by Psycho. It's all on the remaining two players. Toxic finds Lambert, and with that, Sensei turns ahead off Sixer. And that was just what Crazy needed, as LDLC fall in the pistol round.
Crazy not out of the woods yet, though. This is exactly what happened on Overpass. They won the pistol and then lost the second round, which is what let LDLC begin the end of that map for themselves. It's another force spy coming through from LDLC here, dropping hero AKs over to the highest fragging players by the looks of things. I'd be rather disappointed if Haji didn't get a rifle in his hands if they're being dropped over. Body's going to pick one up, and Afro looking to drop something. A Mac 10 on Haji at the bare minimum. Still a relatively dangerous buy for Crazy to look out for.
Absolutely, and Crazy, of course, with only 2 rifles themselves, these AKs will prove to be so deadly, especially if used in the right place. We see them just pushing up towards A, wanting to take these fights at closer or at longer ranges than these close angles we see on Banana. Sensei, a fairly strange angle. He'll tack down Body to open it up and fall on away, but the trade's there. Sixer finds DemQ as the execution comes on out. LDLC kickstart this push. Sergey from behind will be taken down by Haji as well. There'll be another flank in the hands of Psycho, but he'll instantly lose his head to Haji there. A great shot from him as LDLC hit the accelerator and push towards this B site. Crazy, the rotation comes in instantly, and it looks like it might potentially be a fake as well. As we see play going back down towards mid, Lambert clearing the way though. As the effort of Sensei falling on back towards Ruins. And LDLC slowing it down a bit. Player in library going to be spotted. Toxic taking down Afro. Plant will finally come down on B. I think LDLC wanted that flank to come through from Arch. However, numbers to be found. 2 versus 3 now, and Crazy looking like they kind of want to go for this.
I thought they were backing off initially. Perhaps they just thought the bomb was planted on the A site, but a 2-on-3 they consider much more advantageous than a 2-on-4, but now it's a 1-on-3. Toxic alone on a FAMAS may have to back away, finds the first kill, and instead decides he may decide to commit to this one. Pushes in towards the B-bomb site, hunting yet more aggressively, but he's just upgraded onto an AK and running away now. The only thing he can hope to get done in this round. Lambert removes him with the Deagle, and LDLC pull off the Nightmare. They pick up 11 with the second round of the second half, and look how nasty that Crazy economy is.
Yeah, it's an absolute ruins. It will have to be a force by coming out from them. It's going to be a double eco regardless. Sergey with 1.4 or 1.5, sorry. As we'll see the Mac 10 or the scouts, the pistols, and looks like the Mac 10 still being held by LDLC. As you see another timeout come out from them. And Crazy with such a broken economy. What do you do if you're in their position?
I think you have to gamble stack onto the right bomb site. Alright. It's such a dire position to be in. It's all about isolating gunfights. That's your only advantage with the Deagles. If you can find isolated players peeking one at a time, if you can bait LDLC into those positions, find early kills, and then don't overextend. Don't get one Deagle headshot and decide to swing out for your second. Retreat back into the site where you've got maybe a CZ defending you. Something like that. Just play every small advantage to its maximum possible benefit. If Crazy can do that, maybe they have a chance at pulling off this round. Otherwise, you have to think it's 13-6 for LDLC, as Crazy would be on the eco in the next.
Absolutely. And Sensei now in mid. Just spot that initial contact towards D ramp, and that can be a bit of information for Crazy. Maybe spot the odd player, see what they can find, and then stack whatever site they feel. As LDLC are able to get banana control with relative ease. Deal on Coffins, he could potentially lose his head, and he will body, tearing it clean off of Sergey. And that just causes the acceleration. The push comes forward. Sergey able to find one of his own, but he just needs to buy time right now. That swing is perfect. We want to allow him to do so, but Afro takes no prisoners. And Crazy now, the remaining 3 players just looking to go and save.
They absolutely have to. There's virtually zero chance they're going to be able to retake against fully automatic weapons, and Lambert still won't be able to deal damage in the round. Every player he kills is on hard eco in the next, so won't be investing, but every player they kill gets an upgraded weapon to bring forward. DemQ has a Mac 10, and going aggressive with these AKs could be a critical mistake from LDLC. They could end up giving these rifles over to an otherwise ecoed buy. Toxic's found early, but Haji now still has to be careful as Sensei and DemQ are trying to save in second mid. There's no one peeking just yet, but atop the bench, he's just jumps peeking Sensei and thinking about whether they want to creep in. They're going to go for a boost in the end of the round, but they don't want Sixer to make any noise and give the position away.
And Six are moving away, or Sensei moving away at just the last second. I think he doesn't know how close he was to death there, as LDLC, their economy slowly building. Even though they lost that Mach 10, it doesn't really matter too much. It just allows them to replace it with an AK. Crazy, on the other hand, only 2k all around. Their economy in absolute ruins, as they are going to eco around the guns that they have. But LDLC in pole position to make it 13. Bush comes forward. Molly's come out, and actually, LDLC has moved into a stack. It doesn't matter though. Lambert finds one, Body finds another. Sensei is there for the trade, and Toxic from behind tapping down what he can. Unfortunately, no kill to be found. Lambert falls down to 9 HP. However, he goes into a 4 versus 2, and LDLC falling on away crazy with just 2 players remaining. Going to move on back towards CT spawn.
This should be the free plant on the A site. A bare minimum, and again, Crazy have to go for the save here, I think. Psycho definitely has to with that M4. They need that up in the next round for their own economy. And
Absolutely.
Sensei Scout, I mean, you know, that's hit or miss, right? But at least getting an exit kill is better than nothing, I suppose. They just try and hold towards B, and another uphill battle to climb from.
And if Hadji is able to take him down here, that's so detrimental to Crazy. The contact is made, and Psycho, unfortunately, it's not clean, but it works. He's able to take down Hadji. Sensei gonna hold on to that scout as well as LDLC now. With players in Banana looking like they might want to hunt a little bit, but not going to commit too heavily. They do find their 13th round as they lead 13-6 now against Crazy.
Three rounds away from earning themselves a spot in the grand finals. What can the Ukrainians do to stop them? M4s and FAMAS the only prospects for the CT side. They have healthy utility, sure, but firepower slightly lacking and no snipers to be seen on either side. It's LDLC prefer the increased mobility of the AKs in this one and decide there's no point in reinvesting into AWPs when we have perfectly good AKs available. Three-man stack early on the A site as this early aggression from DemQ does work out and win the man advantage in Crazy's favor. LDLC unable to capitalize.
Absolutely. We're going to see Crazy actually with this one-man advantage, looking to want to fall away. Sensei going to be mollied out of position, and Lambert able to trade. Swing is there though. Body finds one. Toxic trades. Lambert finds Toxic. Goes into a 3 versus 2 now for this A site, and Body's in such an aggressive position. He's going to hit Psycho coming towards him. He'll be able to take Body down though. 2 versus 2 now. And this round is so important for LDLC. Psycho going to snap down from Map. Zafra is able to find him. It's all on Sergey. As he'll just try and tap down that Apps player before falling on away. Sergey, 1 versus 2. That flash will go out. And we look at the economy from Crazy. They can't lose this round. Sergey finds Zafro. The push about to continue onwards, as he only has 5 HP to his name. 1 bullet from Lambert is all it takes. Lambert able to get towards short.
He's looking to get creative with it in this clutch, Lambert. Going up into the apartments. I think he has... I'm not sure if the plant's actually all the way for that. The apartments angle could only punish Sergis if he was going aggressive, but he's now accidentally gone too far. Yeah, it's all over. Picks up the Molotov, but has no time remaining. Lambert can get it done. 14-6 up our LDLC. Crazy. They can't even afford the full guns.
Absolutely, and it's just such a difficult position for them. We see that they're going to probably have to fight for overtime here. As we see another timeout come on through, I believe that's the LDLC. As, well, if you're in LDLC's position, it's open season, right? We've seen how Crazy they favor that push towards, or 3 players towards Banana at the start of the round. When they had a buy, they looked to have that 3-player setup. They looked to take Banana control. And LDLC, rather than retaking it, which is what we saw Crazy do, we saw them just respond by taking A. We saw them take the 5 versus 2 as they barrel it up mid, and then as the push comes through from Banana, they just turn around and fight it. As they they brute force in the right place. And that aggression, even though it's unrelentless, it works perfectly for them.
It absolutely does. a great T-side effort from LDLC. Actually, I was just checking the statistics, and LDLC are stronger on the T side of Inferno than they are on the CT side. So it just proves to you how much work they must be putting into these executions, and it's really showing at stages like this in tournaments. Semi-final matchup, 2 rounds away from a grand final spot and up against a hard eco to earn yourselves map point. Crazy. If they can't get it done with the pistols in this, they're looking to fight back from 15-6 down.
And they're going to have to find 9 rounds in a row. Afro opening up, minus like who's going to get that follow-up as well from Sergey. He'll spam as well, flashed off guard. However, he's still able to find him. Body will find Toxic on the other side of the map. And Crazy just dismantled. Sensei going to be holding this close angle, maybe trying to catch the odd player off guard. Demq will find Afro as he aggresses on Banana. Push comes through, Body will take him down. It's all on Demq. Maybe able to save an AK, which, you know, every little helps, I guess, when your economy is in such ruin. Unfortunately, the odds are still so far against Crazy right now that everything is going against them. And MQ, I don't even think he's been able to pick up the AK. That flash goes in, he's caught off guard, and LDLC want to hunt him. They don't even want to let him save the deagle. As the push comes forward, Hamburg comes forward, will be volleyed out of position, and he'll be taken down. LDLC find their 15th, 15-6 now, as they lead against Crazy.
Yet to score in the second half are the Ukrainians, and they would need 9 in a row in order to force us into that overtime situation here on Inferno and try and stay in things. LDLC, they're a side who have looked troubled recently, like perhaps a mixed bag. Not as strong as you'd expect from some of the names in the roster, but they are certainly going the distance in this Malta Vibes Cup, and now look for this round to secure the grand finals.
They're going to spot that player, but as he aggresses though, that's a lot of util damage done by Crazy to open it up. And LDLC, actually, they from Psycho going to be perfect onto Sixer. I think they went for a double AWP setup in this, unless Body just picked up his teammate's AWP. And Crazy doing a great job of that utility on Banana. They've done almost 200 damage in utility alone in the first 30 seconds of this round. I want to see them just go quiet, stack up towards A. And Crazy with this double pit setup, it's either going to work perfectly or awfully. Demq going to be that point of contact to still full on back into pit. Actually, we'll see him run away towards long as the execute comes forward. Crazy rotating at just the wrong time, and that's almost heartbreaking for them. I'm only going to prevent a push. However, it's going to be a 2 versus 4 for this site. Push comes in. Toxic finding Afro. Hadji gonna be able to trade. It's all on Demq now. As he'll fall as well. Hadji, a beautiful 2K. Body finding Psycho. A 2 versus 3 now for LDLC to close out the map and put themselves in the final of the tournament. Sergey now gonna be trying to aggress with Sensei. These 2 AWPs. It's all on Sensei. 1 versus 3. He'll take down that first kill. Ready for the re-aggression. It's not there. Body and Lambert hiding, not giving him anything. That's it. Forward, missing his shot. Body secures LDLC their 16th round, 16-6, as they take it against